Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day. We are here today live again. We are here today live again to chant the psalm. Ah, today is what? Thursday? Yeah. Oops. So today is Thursday, October 3rd. So we're looking at the psalm today is 55. That's my age. I'm double five. 55 is my age. So when I looked at this, I was like looking at what the psalm was today, and I was like, okay, it's 55. That's me. And when I looked at the title, Casting Your Burdens on Righteousness, I was just like, whoa, that's cool. So that was like, I was like, I need this. Okay. If you looked at my channel yesterday, you can see that I'm going through some, times of heartbreak, times of, hurt and disappointment and loss. My dad passed, and right before that, I went through a breakup that was not communicated to me. I found out in certain ways that weren't good. So I am dealing with all of that. This psalm came in just in time. Psalm 55, cast your burden on the Lord. So for those of you out there who are dealing with divorce, you're dealing with a breakup, you're dealing with a death in your family, some kind of loss that has been pulled away from you unexpectedly, or maybe it was in the works and it's just coming to an end now, like the person wasn't um, like the person was sick for a while and they passed away, or the person was not happy in the relationship and they left. So we have similarities when it comes to loss. Loss can be any kind of loss that you have. And with the Psalm 55, we're casting our burden, our loss, our disappointment, our betrayal. Yesterday, I said I felt like I was stabbed in the back, and then the knife was twisted and it went into my stomach, and I could feel it. So, all of that is being cast on the Lord. We're going to cast it all on righteousness. Greetings of love and happiness with great gratitude for the Most High daily. El Su, thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. We are here today on Thursday the 3rd. As we're going into Friday and we're going into the strong end, we're looking ahead at what we need to do in our lives to be free of depression, free of sadness, free of disappointment, free of betrayal and jealousy and envy and insecurity, free of all of that, so we can live our lives the fullest that we can. We also, I also wanted to the share my friend in Barbados, Jade, who sent me for October 3rd. It seems like Jade has a daily word or daily walk, and she sent me this today, and this is really powerful. I'm going to start off the chant a psalm with this, all the way out of the beautiful island of Barbados. Thank you, Jade, for this wonderful words coming brought to us by Psalm 31, verse 23. It speaks, "Oh, love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful," okay, "and plentifully rewarded the giver." the happy giver. I don't want to say proud doer, but the happy giver, the one who is feeling fulfilled by giving. So we talk about faith, and we talk about faith on this channel a lot. Faith without works is nothing. So the commentary on the Psalm 31, verse 23 today is that faith is a key that opens the door of abundance. Okay. Too many of us live behind locked doors of lack. We feel we don't have this, we're suffering and loneliness, when everything we could possibly desire is on the other side, right? So when we turn the key, so we have to turn it, right? God has promised us abundant bless, the Most High. However, first we must show that we have faith by moving towards the door without doubt, fear, and uncertainty. Then God will reveal a bounty of bless to reward us. So my example yesterday of the ticket agent not charging me for my bag is an example that having faith and moving towards the door without doubt. So I didn't doubt that, I was going to get through. It's going to be fine. I had a slight little doubt about missing my flight, and I didn't want to miss it. When I got to the connecting flight, I went and got something to eat, and I had them pack it up so I could take it with me. And when I was going to the gate the woman was closing the door. She was closing the door, and I said, "Hey!" And she opened the door and let me through. And when I look at that, I had to announce, I had to shout to her that I'm here. So sometimes we have to do that in order to have that door open. We have to make movements. We have to move forward. I was moving forward toward the door, and it was closing, right? It was almost going to get locked. But I know that the Most High has vowed an abundant bless. So I must show that I have faith by moving toward the door. I didn't just stop and say, "Oh, they're closing the door. That's it. I missed my flight." I kept going. I moved forward toward that without doubt that I'm going to get through, right? And that faith, having that faith, not just having it, but moving forward with it towards that door. Okay. So I'm glad I used this example because this is coming from a book. It's called Amazing Grace. But Jade, I want you to send me the copyright date of this, as well as the author and the publisher. I'm a librarian, so I like to, when I find a book I want to know when it was copywritten, when it was, who was the author, all of that. Okay. So thank you for liking this video. Thank you for tuning into this video. And thank you so much for sharing it and subscribing to this channel, where you can be able to see, when I'm going live, and you can watch and join in. So thank you, Jade, for the October 3rd reading that you sent. Amazing, because it's about faith, and it kind of parlayed me into, a real life situation where the door was closing, but I didn't stop. I kept moving forward towards it without doubt. So let's, thank you so much for that. Let's look at the Psalm today. And the Psalm today is 55. 55, that's my number. And Psalm 55 is about casting your worries, your burdens onto righteousness, okay? You don't want to cast it onto wrongness and you end up in that. You want to cast your burden on goodness and mercy, compassion, long suffering, forgiveness, righteousness, grace, kindness, and love. You want to cast your burden on that. That is how we define what the Lord is, okay? So I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is right, what is kind and good and, loving and beautiful and not argumentative and not combative and not forcing, but just flowing. Not forcing, but flowing, okay? So we don't want to force anything, not even love. We don't want to force. We want love to flow in its natural element. And when we force somebody to be with us, there's going to be resentment. When we force somebody to love us, there's going to be hate. So we let people go that may not want to be with us. We let them go. And we let them go with God. We let them go with righteousness and kindness. We cast that burden onto the Lord. Okay? When you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship and you are having some struggles and challenges, you want to cast that burden on the righteousness of the Most High. And the two people must come together in that righteousness, or it's going to be like that, pulling apart, pulling apart till there's nowhere to meet in the middle. And a lot of times that happens. It happened with my children's dad when I was in that space of that relationship and moving toward building a relationship with the Most High. And my children's dad didn't want to build a relationship with the Most High. It didn't want that, didn't want to be equally yoked together. So because of that, there was a pulling apart. And when there's a pulling apart, there's going to be a distance and there's going to be moving away from individuals who are not seeking the righteousness of the Most High, but they're seeking worldly things. And when people seek after worldly things, they end up not flourishing or not becoming their full purpose, right? So I look at the Psalm today, casting your burden on the Lord, and the verse today coming from 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 3, to a familiar place of giving and surrendering to that is righteousness. So we have, I don't know which one to go with first. I'll go with the verse today. And the verse today is coming from 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. And the verse today is to give thanks. Give thanks to the righteousness of the Most High, and is defined as God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. So that righteousness is being defined by that. Mankind created the titles. And these titles that go before us, some people may not know how they're defined, but they're defined as love, kindness, mercy, compassion, long suffering, forgiveness, okay? And these attributes are what we are giving thanks to. We're thankful that these are in our lives, that these attributes are existing and that we can pull from them and include them in our day. So in the great mercy of all of that is love, that righteousness has given all of I new birth, okay? A new birth into a living future, okay? That living future through the resurrection. So that living future is through being resurrected from dead. You know, I cheated yesterday and ate a turkey burger. Yeah. And I did not want to eat any dead burger. Um, but I did. I ate a turkey burger yesterday. I'm not gonna go as far as eating any pork and pig and cow and goat and all that. But I I ventured off into eating that turkey burger. And I gave thanks for the turkey burger. Okay. I gave thanks for it. Um and in eating that um and reading this, where we have that mercy has given a new birth into a living future through the resurrection of righteousness from the dead. Okay. And it's sometimes when, people that eat meat, like, oh, that's okay, that's, whatever that is, that's okay. For me, it's not really, because that's, and the turkey burger was there. My son eats meat, so it was there, and that temptation of wanting to have it came alive yesterday. And when I look at the verse today, the resurrection from the dead of righteousness, I am an extremist when it comes to that. So I don't want to ingest anything dead, even though it's got, stuff on it to make it taste good. I had to get that out of my system. So sometimes we have to go through things to get to the other side, right? And oftentimes we find that when we go through something and we succumb and surrender to what that is, we find that we have overcome it. Now we are okay, So especially when you grew up eating what you grew up eating, and now you're wanting to be this new birth. You can't go back into your mom's womb and come back out, new. So you have to change the narrative in your mind. You have to be new. You have to be renewed. And in that renewal, we have that future through that resurrection, because people focus, on the crucifixion and that sacrifice that was given to us. However, we have to look now and open the door to the resurrection that we have to be resurrected to. We have to be resurrected to a newness. And that newness is putting away the old, the things of the past. So all the things of the past you're putting away. You're casting your burden on righteousness. You're putting away the past. So in the verse today, 1 Peter 1-3, really kind of gives us that intro to the Psalm 55 in terms of casting your burden on that righteousness, the resurrection of righteousness, righteous resurrection, okay, from the dead. So we know that we have an advocate because of that. So in Psalm 55, I'm going to segue now to that, because it's a great intro we have of the verse of the day introducing this resurrection and casting your burdens on that. So we're not we're going to remember the crucifixion, yeah, but we're going to focus now on the new birth, and that new birth is going to take us into a living future through that resurrection of the righteous one. Okay, so that's where Psalm 55 comes in. Psalm 55 comes in by allowing us to know that because in 1 Peter 1:3, we have been given this new birth, right, into a living righteousness. We are to cast our burdens on that righteousness. Cast it on the crucifixion. Put it under the foot of the cross and let the blood drip down on those burdens. Let the blood drip on the burden. Okay? And you walk away from it. You don't have to go back and take up the burden and think about it again. Just leave it there. This is what I have to do in order to be risen from the sadness of betrayal and loss of a family member. So I have to do that. And I'm so glad the Psalm is about this, because that's helping me through that transition of acknowledging that I have an advocate. Okay. So Psalm 55 looks at casting these burdens on righteousness, just putting them there, right? So I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is righteous and what is good and what is kind. So we have 23 verses to unpack. And as we unpack these verses, let's look at the first one. Listen to my words, O God, and hide not yourself from my plea for mercy. Attend to I and answer I and I, right? I and I is restless in I and I complaint and I moan. I've been on the phone with folks and I've expressed my complaint and I've moaned, I've cried, I've wept, I've all of this stuff because of the noise of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For the wicked and the enemy drop trouble upon me, and in anger bearing a grudge against me. Okay, so in verse 4, we see that I and I heart is in anguish within. The terrors of death have fallen upon I. Okay, and this has happened, that seeing my dad passing away. Fear and trembling come upon I, and horror overwhelms I. And I speak the words, oh, that I had wings as a dove, I would fly away and be at rest away from this horrible situation, right? Yes, I would wander far away. I would lodge in the wilderness, Selah. I would hurry to find a shelter from the raging wind and, tempest. So the verse 9 is like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Destroy all righteousness, divide the tongues of the wicked and the enemy, for there's violence and strife that I'm seeing in the city. Day and night, these folks are going around the city and on its walls, and inequity and trouble are within there. Ruin is in the midst, and oppression and fraud, they don't depart from the marketplace. Okay. So this psalm is diving deep into, what's going on in the world out here today. And then this is Psalm 55, verse 12 now. And it talks about it's not an enemy that taunts me or betrays me. Then I could bear it. You know what I mean? If it's somebody that you don't know, it's not an adversary that deals insolently with me, then I could hide from that, right? But it's a woman, my equal, my companion, my familiar friend, that used to take sweet teachings together within the church. We would go walking in the throng with everybody going to get a seat. But this is what has been done to me by someone familiar to me, close to me. Betrayal, stabbing in the back and twisting the knife in my stomach. So casting that burden, that hurt, and that betrayal, and casting it at the foot of Christ, letting the blood drip on it, is the only way for me to be free of it, is to cast it there. And it's hard to read the next words, because this is what the repayment is for betrayal. This is what the repayment is. And I do not wish any harm on anyone. Please, this is a disclaimer for this channel. I don't wish anyone any death or destruction or anything. I don't wish that on anyone. However, when you are betraying someone and you are telling untruths, lying, stealing, cheating, doing these things. I'm not speaking that anybody out there are doing that. Verse 15 speaks of what is going to happen to the enemy, the adversary that taunts you, that has dealt with you insolently. Okay, this is what's going to happen to that one. Verse 15, let death steal over them. Let them go down to hell alive. I don't want that for anyone. For evil is in their dwelling place. Where they live, where they dwell, evil is there. And evil is in their heart. I don't know what's in anybody's heart. I'm just reading what the words of the psalm is speaking of. I don't know what's in any. Only God knows your heart. Only the Most High knows you. That's your creator. If you don't believe in God or the Most High, know that you were created. You just didn't pop out here someplace. You were created by a higher power. And that higher power is a higher love. That higher love is a righteousness love. It's a God, Jesus love. And you have been created by that. And that's the only entity that knows your heart. Okay? So verse 15 is going to deal with it. And I cast my burdens and I walk away. So in verse 16, I call to righteousness. That's who I'm going to call to. I'm not going to go pick up a gun and go hurt somebody. I'm going to call to righteousness, because that is what's going to save me. A gun is not going to save you. Okay. Evening and in the rise and even at noon, I am uttering my complaint and I moan. Okay, I had to scream out, why did this person betray me? Why did you hurt? Why? I had to do that. I complained and moaned. And the Most High listened to my voice, because that Most High that listens to you is going to redeem your life in safety from the battle that is going to be waged against you. For many are going to be arrayed against you. Okay? The Most High will give an ear and listen and humble folks, because that righteousness is enthroned from of ancient days. That's the ancient one, Selah. Because the ancient one does not change. The ancient one is ancient. And the ancient one has to be enthroned from of ancient, because the wicked don't change. They don't fear righteousness. They don't change. I met someone 6 years ago. They're in the same place they were when I met them, in terms of their attitude and their narrative in their mind. Maybe they have stopped certain things in their life, but their mentality hasn't changed. and they do not fear God. Because when you fear God, you're not going to cheat, you're not going to lie, you're not going to hurt and betray and stab people in the back because you're afraid of God. You're afraid what God is going to do to you. You're afraid that you're going to be a lightning bolt going to hit you, according to verse 15. Death is going to steal over them and they're going to go to hell alive. For evil is where they dwell, and that evil is in their heart. They don't care about anyone else but themselves. So they will hurt folks just to keep themselves safe. So in verse 20, it talks about the same companion. This companion stretched out their hand against their friends, okay, and violated their a covenant. Their speech was smooth as butter, telling me they love me, they this me, they that me, yet war is in their heart. Their words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords that stabbed me in my back, twisted the knife into my stomach. So when people come to you with smooth words, smooth as butter, war is in their heart. Their words are softer than oil. It's sweet words they give you, but yet behind it, it's a knife ready to stab you in your back and twist it into your stomach. So with all that, in verse 22, we're going to cast all of those burdens on righteousness, because that righteousness is going to sustain. Okay? Anger is not going to sustain. It's going to eat and tear you up. Sadness, hurt, all of that, you cast that on the Most High righteousness. Okay? So that righteousness is going to sustain you, and righteousness will not permit the righteous to be moved. Okay? You're not going to be moved and to the point of upsetness and want to hurt someone. You're not going to be moved. And oh my goodness, excuse me, y'all. So when we talk about the righteous not being moved, I could tell people who are righteous and who are not. The person that called me and left a voicemail cursing me out, that's not righteous. Okay? A righteous person is not moved into that space. That's an evil person. That is evil is in their dwelling place and in their heart. So when I see that, and I see that my ex went with someone that tells me a lot about a person. You are known by the company you keep. Okay? So if you keep company with someone who is evil, you keep company with someone who has evil in their heart, you keep company with someone that doesn't change their behavior. You keep company with someone that doesn't fear God, that does things and doesn't realize that there's a God watching. When you keep company with folks like that, it says a lot about you. It says that you are, that says a lot about you when you keep company with folks that do not fear God. Oops, I gotta put this back on here. So be careful of the company you keep, okay? Be careful of the company that you keep. So you want to cast your burden on righteousness, and righteousness will sustain you and will not permit you to be moved because you are staying in that righteousness. So in verse 23, righteousness is going to cast down the wicked and the evil, okay, and the one that stabbed you in the back and twisted the knife into your stomach. Righteousness is going to handle it. You leave people alone, just walk away, send people blessed day, let people know they made their choice and you've accepted it. You've accepted it. You're in that acceptance stage of your life and you've accepted that, and you are going to move ahead in your life. So you don't need to put your hand into wrongness and be messy and be you don't need to do that, because I could do that. I could be messy and send all the text messages that this person sent to me to this person that cursed me out and say, look, you're cursing me out, telling me about I need to move on, when the person you're with hasn't moved on. They're still sending me texts and loving me, telling me that. So, it's interesting that I am not that messy type of person, because I could do that. I could send all the text messages to this person that cursed me out and say, hey, look, you're worried about me coming after your person, but your person is coming after me. It's like, okay. However, because of my righteousness and because of my, what it called, fear of God, I am not going to do that. I'm not going to put my hand into wrongness and be messy like that. People are going to find out who they are eventually. They're going to find out. So leave it alone. Cast your burden on the Lord. Cast your burden on righteousness, and righteousness will sustain you. Righteousness will not permit you to be moved into wrongness and being messy. So, or retaliating or vengeful, right? Like this channel, folks. I want at least 10 likes on here. So hit the like button. It's underneath there someplace. But with the Psalm today, 55, casting your burden on righteousness on the Most High, the end of the Psalm speaks to that. Righteousness will cast down the wicked and the evil one and the one who is betrayed, the betrayer, right? We know that God forgives, okay? God forgives. And just because someone tells you they're sorry doesn't mean God is going to forgive them. God forgives when a person repents and they're accountable. They are accountable for what they did, meaning that they are admitting to the person, I did wrong, and this is what I am asking for forgiveness. Forgive me, right? But when people don't do that, this is what's going to happen. They're going to be casted down into the pit of destruction, and blood and treachery, people of blood and treachery shall not live out half their days. Okay, meaning that they're not going to be around for too long. They're not going to live out half of their days. That is really scary. So what do? We are kind. We are loving. We are forgiving. We are long-suffering. And we are honest and have humility and integrity about ourselves. So this has been the Psalm today, 55. And Psalm 55 gives us a perfect beginning, as the verse does. A perfect beginning into looking at casting all our worries, all our burdens, all our insecurities, all our jealousy, all our negatives, we're casting into the Most High. We're going to cast all the burdens onto the Most High and leave it there. Okay. And even if somebody, your companion, violated their covenant, so say you were married and the person you were married to violated the covenant, just cast your burden on the Most High and you will be sustained. You will not be, you will never be moved, because righteousness is not going to be shaken or in that way. When you see somebody call you, leave a voicemail cursing you out, they lack righteousness and they lacked tact. They lacked professionalism. They are lacking in righteousness because they are erring on the side of wrongness. And we have to trust in righteousness, because that is what is going to keep us sustained. Righteousness will sustain you and will never permit you to be moved into a wrong attitude or a depressive state of mind, okay, or even a distressful state of mind, or even an emotional upheaval state of mind. So I am taking all of that in because of what I've been going through, and I'm going to receive that wonderful glory of righteousness in my life to be what I lean on in times of hardships. Okay. Selah and Selah again. Here ends the psalm for today. And I wanted to look at the verse today. Well, actually, the word today. I'm getting calls here. Let's see. Let me just let them know I'm on live. And the word today is very powerful. It is inner love, loving yourself. Okay. Loving yourself, loving yourself, and loving yourself is it's powerful because a lot of people don't love themselves. They are seeking for somebody else to love them, because somebody told me, I didn't know nobody would want me. But did you want you? Do you want you? Or you want to get lost? You want to lose yourself in someone else and let them take over. And oftentimes this happens in relationships. And that's what the person told me. I didn't think anybody would want me. And what about you wanting you? Because when you don't think somebody's going to want you, the wrong person is going to want you, and you're going to be in a situation you regret for the rest of your life. So be careful about stepping into a space with someone else that you feel wants you. This is what happened to me 6 years ago when I met the person. They wanted me. And they told me, they didn't make hesitate or facilitate or anything. They straight up told me, I want to taste you. And I was like, what? Oh my goodness. This person wants me. They want me physically in that way. And I was in a space where I did not accept myself. Or loving myself. So when somebody on the outside now comes in and wants to love me, I'm like, I'm going to get lost in that person, right? Instead of having inner love, so you're able to discern that person. You're able to discern now, okay, wait a minute, this person just is about the flesh and not about, the depth of that, the depth of themselves. So the person was selfish and wanted what they wanted, and I was selfish and wanted someone to want me. So the twain never can come into sustaining longevity, because when you go into a relationship with these things and these ideas of someone else fulfilling you, hi Animal Mom, someone else fulfilling you, you're going to get lost in that. You're going to get lost there, and you're not going to be able to see your way through. You're not going to be able to see your way through. So it's important to be able to have that to be in that space. I'm trying to share this, y'all. In that space with righteousness and goodness. Thank you, Animal Mom. I received that, and may the Lord also be with you too. Thank you for speaking that. So when we look at this idea of having a sense of our own inner love, we're more capable of loving someone else fully. So the words today, inner love, I practice acceptance and find inner love. So good blessed rise, Connie. Thanks for joining. Like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. I want to get at least 10 likes. If you don't like it, just keep it to yourself. So we have a sense of inner love, and that inner love, when we are by ourselves, God isolates us to be alone so that we can have that opportunity to love ourselves, to be fully present with ourselves. Because sometimes we have this idea that we need someone else to complete us, and that causes breakups, because we depend on that person. We expect them to complete us, and when they fall short, we get upset, and we get into arguments and disagreements and all that, because they didn't do something we wanted them to. We expecting them to do this and make us happy, make me happy. And it's like, no, you got to make yourself happy. You got to be good with yourself. You got to be with yourself every single day of your life. And if you think somebody else outside is going to complete you on the inside, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because it don't work that way. People jump from relationship to relationship to relationship, and they never find themselves. They wonder why they have all these failed relationships. I'm telling you from experience, my failed relationships was because the word today, inner love, wasn't fully in there with me. Okay. Now that I've been separated from and I've been alone and isolated by myself, I am getting to love myself. That's the only way you can really come into your inner peace, okay? By loving yourself. So the word inner love, I use love. Inner love, it speaks, there can be great comfort in standing firm in righteousness when certain things have come to pass. Okay, so there can be great comfort in understanding why certain things have come to pass. Why did I get a divorce? Why did my fiance, leave and met someone else? Why did I break off my engagement in 2022, December. And why did I want to try to make it work? Why did I ask my partner to move to Maryland with me? Let's come over here on this side of the world with me. Let's do this. And they said no. They said no. So there's great comfort in knowing why certain things have come to pass. Why am I single? Why did that person get divorced? Why did this happen? Even when I don't like what happened, or I didn't choose it, I didn't choose to be alone. I didn't choose to be single. Somebody else chose that and made me that, right? So finding a reason for it can be a comfort and gives me some peace of mind, right? People want closure. They want to know why this person did what they did. It can be a comfort, and it can give you some peace of mind, right? However, listen to this part. There will always be happenings in the world and in your life that defy logical sense. Like, why in the world did my person, the love of my life that I love so much, left, and now they're with someone with 5 kids? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. The youngest is 5. That defies logical sense. That don't seem to have a reason behind them, right? When I spend too much time turning these events over again in my mind and thinking why, I rob myself of acceptance and peace. So I've stopped. I've stopped thinking about that. I'm not going to think about this person with this person and their 5 kids and this. I'm going to stop. I'm robbing myself. When you think about your ex, or you think about the pain they've caused, and the pain they've caused, thank you, Connie, and the pain that they've caused, you're robbing yourself of accepting yourself again. And you're robbing yourself of love. So when people are after other people, and people call it chasing ass, they're not true love. They don't deserve you, because they have gone out, right? And they're chasing after some ass. So they don't deserve you. So that's exactly what the word is talking about. Because they don't deserve you, you're going to let it go. You're not going to rob yourself of accepting what that is. Okay? So the word talks about practicing spiritual surrendering. It strengthens you to find the love inside that you seek. Okay? It strengthens you to find that love that you seek. So you turn your attention away from the unknowable, right? You turn your attention away from the unknowable and toward enduring righteous truth. Okay? Righteous truth. So you turn your attention away from the unknowable. Okay? Unknowable being, why did that person leave? They left because they were lonely. They wanted to chase some ass. They didn't tell me. I found out on Facebook when I saw a picture of them holding hands with the person. So I never knew. I'm in the dark. I wasn't told this. This came about in that way. So it's interesting. The person now should feel a kind of way, like, you didn't tell the person you were with that I'm the new person. You're like, confusion. I want it away. Remember, Psalm 55 is about casting your burden on the Lord. So when we practice righteous surrendering, that helps you find the peace, the love that you seek. You turn your attention away from the unknowable and toward enduring righteous truth. Because when people cheat on you and they lie and they go astray, they're not living in that truth. They're not. They're living in a lie. And when you live in a lie, you have a burden. You got to lie. You got to lie and cover that lie. And you got to lie and cover that. That's a burden. You're enslaved to the lie. So in order to be free, you have to endure that spiritual truth, that righteous truth. Tell people the truth and shame the devil. That's it. God is with and within me through all the peaks and valleys of life. This is perhaps my greatest source of peace and understanding. Okay? Your greatest source of love and righteousness is that God within you. Because that's where God dwells. But the wicked and the liar and the people that are that curse you out and leave voicemails and stuff, they do not fit into this. Okay? God is not with them. God is not within them. God is there, but they push God away with all of this drama and cursing and all of this. And then the same person gonna call me the day after my birthday and wish me happy birthday. And I'm like, okay. So, and from the person's phone, not their own phone. Okay. So when we look at when we look at what people do, right? We call it what it is. And it is what it is. People do not believe in God. They don't believe in God and Jesus. They may talk it, they may speak it in Jesus' name. God be the glory. They may talk it, they may talk about it, but they're not about it. Because Jesus was about long suffering. That's what Jesus was. So when you're alone and your partner is not there, you're long suffering. You're going to stick it out, right? You're going to be strong. You're not going to get depressed. But when you do, you're going to call your partner, yeah, I'm depressed, I need you, blah, blah, blah. You're going to communicate. But people who don't believe in and don't know Jesus and know God like that, they're not going to communicate with you about anything. Okay? They're not going to tell you the truth. In other words, they're not going to tell you the truth, because when they tell you the truth, that truth is going to set you free and you're going to make decisions that they may not want. They want to keep you stringing along so that when the relationship that they have doesn't happen, you're still there and they can wheel you back in. So the word today is about practicing acceptance. Accept the fact that people are gone. Accept the fact that people did what they did. All my clothes, they weren't even off the hanger and folded neatly. They were taken off the hanger, put in a plastic garbage bag, and put out by the door for me like I was trash. Okay? So when that happens, you got to practice acceptance. Accept it. Let me get my garbage bags that you put here of my clothes still in hangers, just thrown in there, like I'm a piece of trash. So you practice acceptance and you find love and kindness when you practice that. I accepted it and I moved on. So the word today, inner love, is brought to you today by Philippians chapter 4, verse 7. Okay. Thank you, Connie. And the love of righteousness that surpasses all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So let's unpack that. Philippians 4, 7. The love of righteousness, the love of mercy, the love of kindness, the love of forgiveness. Even though I was treated like trash, I still forgive. I have forgiveness in my heart. I have long suffering in my heart. I have kindness in my heart. I have grace in my heart. I have mercy in my heart for people who are wicked and evil and not nice. I have mercy and I have compassion in my heart for those, because that compassion is that mind of Christ. That is righteousness. So the love of righteousness that surpasses all stand will keep I and I hearts and I and I minds in that love and forgiveness that is of Jesus Christ himself. Selah and Selah again. I am thankful for the psalm today, for the word today, because it has helped me. I don't know if it's helped anyone else out there, but it's helped me to move forward. It's helped me to accept people as they are. Don't try to think in your mind, they're such a sweet person. Accept them for who they are. This is what they are. They've shown you. People can talk to you and tell you whatever, but people's actions speak louder than what they tell you. Okay? They speak louder than what they tell you. If someone could treat you like trash, right? After knowing you for 6 years, being there for you now, I'm not going to say all the things I've done for anyone because it's out of the goodness of my heart. However, after all this time, someone new comes and you treat the person that was there for you in this way, guess what happens? It's going to return to you, and then it's not going to be good because you've treated someone who was kind to you unkind over someone else. Okay? Actions speak and actions tell you that. So when we look at the Psalm today, 55, casting our burdens, right? And accepting inner love, it's important. And then we had the verse of the day. The verse of the day that came from, where is it? The verse of the day. Yeah, the verse of the day coming from 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. We have to give thanks to righteousness because righteousness has given us mercy and has given us a new birth. And that new birth is a living future through the resurrection of that one that is dead. So if you feel dead inside, guess what? You have an advocate because that one has been resurrected. We're going to resurrect with that one, okay? Leaving people behind. Some people are going to have to get left behind, y'all. That's what's going to have to happen. Some people may get left behind, but you got to send folks love, okay? Because the day is coming and the destruction of the wicked is coming, right? I don't want to call out anybody out there. I don't judge folks. I'm not going to say you're wicked, you're wicked, you're good, you're good. I am not God to do that. God knows people's hearts. What's inside your heart may not come out in the words or in the actions that you speak. People hide their heart. People don't stand up for themselves. They're pushovers because people push them around. They're being pushed around. They're pushovers. They're easily pushed. So let's look at, what was it? Max Lucado. I have to end with Max Lucado. Max Lucado is looking at, Titus 2:7. 2:7, that's my number. In every way, be an example of doing good. When you teach, do it with honesty and seriousness. You hear that? In every way, be an example of doing good. So I try to come on this channel to be an example of good and showing people how that good is going to result in an outcome of good. So when you do good, good comes to you. When you do bad, bad gonna come. So be a good example. And when you teach about doing good, do it with honesty and seriousness. So when I teach, when I'm in my front of my classroom and I'm teaching a class, I am bluntly honest. Bluntly honest. I don't hold the truth away or sugarcoat it. I am honest with it and very serious, because the topic of child development is very, very serious. Okay? Children are gonna grow up to be adults, and how children are socialized, how their adult influences their socialization is important to them for their future. So this is a serious topic when I teach. So Max Lucado says, when we ever get to the point where our goal is to have people speak, "What a wonderful person," we're missing the mark. So in other words, when we ever get to the point, right, where our goal is to have people say, "What a wonderful person," is that your goal, to have people speak that? We're missing the mark. Okay? Because I just said that. The person I was with, a sweet person and everything, but that's not it. That's not all. We're missing the mark. Instead, our goal is to have people speak, "What a wonderful God this person serves." What a wonderful God this person serves, by looking at their action, right? Looking at their action. Looking at what they do, how they do it, why they do it, is to serve God. So when you cheat on someone, are you serving God? When you lie to someone, are you serving God? When you withhold the truth, are you serving God? What are you serving? And when we look at that, our task is to have people speak, "Tell me about your God," to point people to him. What has God done for you? Tell me, what is it that God has done? When I meet someone, that is what I'm going to look for now. I'm going to look not about what a wonderful person or how sweet a person, but I'm going to, what a wonderful God this person serves. Tell me about your God. Tell me about this person that you serve. Let's talk about that, right? Let's commune together with righteousness and talk about that. So that is for October 3rd, Max Lucado. I love that. In every way, be an example of doing good works. When you teach, do it with honesty and seriousness. I love that. We are in the book of Matthew, everyone. And October 3rd is about the power of the King. Has your faith lost its wonder? Okay, remember I began with Jade sent me this scripture about faith. Faith is a key that opens the door of abundance. And in the book of Matthew for October 3rd, has your faith lost its wonder? Have you taken your eyes off of righteousness, who is truly wonderful? So people take their eyes off of God and they look and lust after they lust after people. Okay, they lust after people. And in that lusting, we don't find abundance. You're not going to find abundance in lust. So in this October 3rd, power of the King, all things have been committed to me by my Father, and this is Jesus talking, um, seeing is believing, or so the old saying goes. One of the strongest encouragements of trusting God today is seeing God's power in the past. Write down the 9 miracles found in today's reading. Can you think of a time in your own life when you saw God's power at work in a mighty way? So that's a question to think of today. Can you think of a time in your own life when you saw God's power at work in a mighty way? I made a testimony seeing God's work in a mighty way when the airline ticket agent didn't charge me for my bag. That to me is mighty because it's also, I see God's work in a mighty way through the nature when I go outside and see creation. So October 3rd, we're looking at Matthew 7, Matthew 8, Matthew 9, Matthew 10 and 11. So go ahead and read Matthew 8 to 11. Judging others, do not judge, or you too will be judged. So we don't want to judge folks that out here doing things that we don't like. We don't want to judge them. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. So how you measure people is how you're going to be measured. Okay, he did me wrong, he did this, he did that, he should have did this. You're measuring him. We don't want to do that. We don't want to judge folks. We want to leave them alone. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in someone's eye and pay no attention to the one in your own? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time you have a big one in yours? You're a hypocrite. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. When you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. So you don't give your good things to folks that don't deserve it. Just like someone on my live said, that person don't deserve you. You're not going to throw your good pearls to folks that don't deserve you. They're going to come back and stab you in the back, twist the knife into your stomach. This is what happened. So we have to ask, seek, and knock. The narrow and wide gates, true and false prophets, true and false disciples, the wise and foolish builders. Jesus heals a man with leprosy, the faith of the centurion. Jesus heals many. The cost of following Jesus. Jesus calms a storm. Jesus restores 2 demon-possessed men. Jesus forgives and heals a paralyzed man. The calling of Matthew. Jesus questioned about fasting. Jesus raises a dead girl and heals a sick woman. Jesus heals the blind and the mute. The workers are few. Jesus sends out the 12. So Jesus heals the blind and the mute. I have to stop at this one because people are mute. They're not talk. There, you see how the person's my ex, her new whatever that is, called me instead of the ex calling me and dealing with me and dealing with my belongings and dealing with the situation. They averted it to someone else to deal with. That's a coward. That's mute. They are not following Jesus. Jesus heals the mute and opens the mouth of the mute, right? The mute is someone who doesn't speak, who doesn't have anything to say. Okay? And when the demon was driven out, the man who had been mute spoke. So when people are mute and they're hiding, guess what? That's demonic. They're in the demonic entity with someone. That's a demonic entity that is controlling a person's phone, right? Controlling their email, controlling what they speak and who they speak to. That's demon possessed. Jesus, I'm calling you to heal. I'm not going to call the person name. To heal the mute. Heal the mute and the blind, for them to open their eyes and to see that they are being bamboozled, okay, run amok and taken in this possession, this what would I call it? This harlot possession of, it's written in Revelation, the great harlot. It's that in Revelation, you're lusting with this a demonic entity, right? This demonic entity that is controlling and manipulating. So your phone, they're controlling. You can't talk on your phone. Okay. And it's interesting because the person I was with used their phone. I was shocked, and left a voicemail and left a voicemail. This is the voicemail they left. Okay, I can't wait. Let me play it back.
Sorry. Sorry.
Did you hear that? That's the voicemail that was left October 1st at 11:37 p.m. Okay? And this voicemail that was left
Sorry.
came from the personal phone that was hijacked. So this is what was left for me. That's it. SORRY, sorry. Okay? That's what was left while my belongings were put in the trash bags. You didn't hear it? This is what it says.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that's what the voicemail said. I don't know if you heard it. It probably was too low, but yeah, it's this is what was left. It said sorry, and in that we have interesting. Yeah, it sounds like it's saying stray, but it's sorry. The person could barely get it out. Okay. The person could barely get it out.
Sorry.
Yeah. The person could barely get it out.
Sorry.
Yeah. So this is what happens, folks. This is what happens. And when this happens, we have an advocate. We have an advocate, inner love. And I practice acceptance and I find inner love. Okay. And it's interesting because when you do things like this, when you do something to someone that's been good to you, you're going to get it back. And I know from experience, someone did something really kind to me, and I was like not forthcoming, and this happened years ago. And because of that, these things come back. Okay. They come back, and they have to, because you've started the fire, you've set it off. And I'm glad that I am not dead, but alive to be able to know and to function, because the healing of the blind and the mute, I've been healed. The workers are few. There's not going to be a lot of people who are going to follow in their life. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Okay. Jesus sends out the 12 and John the Baptist, and woe to unrepentant towns. So when you're sorry for something you did, you have to repent. Jesus went out because most of his miracles had been performed because people because they did not repent. So woe to you, for when the miracles that were performed in you had been performed, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. So there was a time when I was in sackcloth and ashes, and I was in that repentance, stage, life. But I tell you that it will be more, you know, this is for October 4th, so I won't get into this. This is Matthew chapter 11, the Father revealed in the Son. So come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. Okay, that's the psalm today. Cast your burdens on the Most High, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your lives. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So, why do we take on burdens of the world when the yoke is easy and the burden of Christ is light? Okay, that is a question we have to ask ourselves. Okay, thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. We are at the hour. We have been here at an hour. I have to take my son to work, and I have to get myself to work, and I got to call my mom. She just called and left a message. But yeah, this is what the voicemail that I got on October 1st, 2 days ago. Let's outro with Chant A Psalm. Have a blessed day, everyone. I'll call you, Connie. I'm gonna call you after I call my mom here. Have a blessed day, everyone. Remember kindness. Remember, stand in love, don't fall in it. Stand in love, don't fall in it. All right? Have a blessed day. God bless you too. Have a blessed day, everyone. Remember, stand in love, don't fall in it.